Hey guys, Jim here. Thank you for joining me as always. I'd like to discuss with you something that we don't get the chance to discuss very often, and that is comfort in concealed carry. Now, there's a reason why you went from buying your big range toys, your FN 509 tactical, Glock 34s, Glock 21s, down to stuff like 6-hour P365s and the like, because you needed something that was a little bit more comfortable to be able to carry concealed. Now, if you're like me, you subscribe to the, hey, I'm already carrying a 20 to 30 ounce anchor weight that's an inch to 2 inches thick inside of my waistband. There's no such thing as comfort. I'm not going to worry about comfort. I'm just going to worry about this is what I need to protect my life. This is what I can trust. This I feel gives me the advantage. And I think honestly, holster companies and concealment companies in general kind of feel the same way because nobody really seems to focus on actual comfort. That is until Vedder sent me this. And this is their new holster pad. On one side, you have the coarse side of hook and loop fastener. I'm going to go ahead and call it Velcro because I'm not making the product and I'm not selling the product, so I'm not held liable for using their trade name. But we all know it as Velcro. And then they give you a strip of the soft side of Velcro. And what this is meant to do is go onto the back side of your holster that's going to be contacting your skin and provide a barrier between you and the hard kydex. And that's going to soften all of the harsh edges that are on it. And that's hopefully, now this is the winter, so I can't say for certain, but it's hopefully also going to wick away some of the sweat and soak it into this material, which feels like a wicking and cooling material. It feels a lot like the liner that you would get inside of a good quality motorcycle helmet. But we are in a major freeze right now in this Arctic storm, so I couldn't possibly tell you if it does anything for warm weather or not. But what I have discovered is this really does take a lot of the pain out of wearing a holster. Whether you're the kind of person that your holster digs down into your thigh when you're sitting down, or maybe you have a bit of a gut and it's cutting into you at the corners where your fat little pooch is coming around it, or the sweat guards are cutting into you at some point. Maybe not even cutting into you, but pressing into you in a way that's uncomfortable. This eliminates all that. Now, there is a downside. This is just under a half an inch thick, so you're adding more bulk. And there's a couple of different ways you can use it. They were smart enough to do the Velcro idea, which means you could buy just one of these and go from holster to holster to holster. However, and they did this very smart thing with their wedge as well. And I swear by this wedge. Now, on my Tier 1 concealed holsters, I use the Tier 1 concealed wedge because it just helps to tuck the butt of a larger gun further into you, making it a little bit more concealable. But the problem is, once you've applied that to one of your holsters, that's living there forever. If you've ever taken one of those off, you know what I mean. So what I have done is when I got this, I don't recall whether I purchased this separately or if it was included in one of my Vedder Holsters orders. I'd have to go back and look. But once I got this and realized it was Velcroed, I went ahead and put a soft side Velcro on the back side of every holster I own. That way, no matter what holster I carry that day, I can slap this on there. Now, I can choose to do the same thing with the holster pad. Does that mean I have to choose one or the other? Right now, yes. If I trim this, then I can use both. That's the downside. Right now, I haven't figured out a way to just be able to use both. So what I would suggest to Vedder is either make a holster pad option that has the wedge built in, or have one that has a large cutaway so that we can swap back and forth as we're already doing with the wedges. Now, what they've done here, if you notice, there's lines and separate segments of cushion. This is so that you can trim to the size of your holster. Now, if you're like me, you have a lot of different guns that you carry and a lot of different sizes of holsters. So trimming this might be detrimental because I may decide, hey, today's the day I'm going to carry one of my bigger guns. I'm going to carry my Tier 1 concealed Axis Slim, which is a big sidecar holster, and I'm going to want that extra size because I'm not carrying my little P365 today. And now I've cut it too short. As you know, if you cut something too short, shit don't grow back. So another thing that I would suggest is if they were to develop a way where these were Velcro tear-off sections, where you can stack them and have the additional length, or you can tear them away repeatedly, maybe on a daily basis. That could be a way to integrate the wing as well. Not the wing, but the wedge, the bump as well. Maybe have that where that can Velcro on and off a segment of this. And maybe even the same thing for the sweat guard, because you're going to have some holsters that have very tall sweat guards and some that have no sweat guards or very short sweat guards. And it's honestly, it's beyond that. Because what I've been doing is I've been positioning it in a way that actually covers the whole rear of the slide because it's not getting in the way of the draw. Like if you have an oversized sweat guard, a lot of guys won't have a high sweat guard because they're afraid of it getting in the way. And the other major reason is if you have your gun out for some reason and you sit or you bend over, now you've got that sharp part of the holster digging into your stomach. So that would be a great thing is if you could do like a step system for this and for this. That would be a greater generation too. Now, I suppose if you've got enough room in your pants, you could always mount it lower and wrap it around. But now, because you're doubling this, you'd be adding a full inch in bulk inside of your pants, and I don't think that you want to do that. So let's take a look at how this attaches to various different holsters with various different guns and see if it's going to benefit you. So now you can go from your little P365 XL, which I have here in a Henry holster. I think this is called the Ember because this is their light bearing version. I can slap this on the back, and if I choose, I can run the guard all the way up to cover the slide so that nothing, the slide, the tang, nothing is actually going to be hitting my body. And this is actually comfortable. I can leave the length here if I want to, and it's not really bothersome. It's going to conform to the shape of your body anyway. So when you sit and squat or whatever it is that you're doing, it's automatically going to bend because, man, it's foam. It's not a big deal. But yeah, you could wrap it around, but honestly, that might be the stupidest option you could possibly think of because you're doubling the bulk, and bulk is something that you don't want inside of your waistband to begin with. So I take that off. It's a new day. It's a new gun. So I have decided I'm going to go larger. So now I'm going to carry one of my sidecar holsters. So this is my Tier 1 Concealed Axis Slim, one of my favorite holsters. Already unbelievably comfortable. That is, if you can make any hard plastic Kydex holster inside of your pants comfortable. And I can carry off a good sized gun in there. And now I have all this protection against all of this touching my skin. I'm taking care of this corner here. all those edges. Even though they're nicely rounded, the individual parts of the holster are nicely rounded and for comfort, but this is a nice, soft, padded surface. And believe me when I tell you, this does make a substantial difference. So now we get that out of the way. We'll go to something even larger. Here's another, this is a Tier 1 concealed Apex, or APX. I don't know if they're calling it APX or Apex. It's the one that has the crazy adjustable cant and distance for the mag caddy. And I have a substantially larger gun here, a 5-inch barrel Canik Rival. Now, most people don't carry a gun anywhere near this large or have this much weight going on, but if you do, now, instead of maybe you trim this for your P365, and you've got now all this exposure, you've left this the way it is, and now you're all covered. Now, I think that is a really, really nice option. And one more, just to take things into utter ridiculousness, because, yep, I've got it, and yeah, I carry it. This is my FN 509 Tactical with the Parker Mountain Machine compensator on there, making this, I believe it's almost 8 inches from the rear of the slide to the end of the compensator. And I have a holster for that as well. And this, as you can see, will cover everything from the bottom of the holster all the way up, right here, past where the slide and the tang are. So, the modularity of it is something that I enjoy a lot. Big gun, little gun, doesn't matter. And anything that you can do to make your daily carry more comfortable, the more you're going to benefit. Because, you know, when you get down to it, if you're not comfortable, you may not carry. I have lived a long time carrying guns. I've carried now for about 30 years. And there have definitely been times that I really wish I didn't have that hunk of steel on me, especially back in the early days, back before polymer guns were really all that popular, or before a lot of us more stubborn people began to trust striker-fired polymer guns like the Glock. We were carrying around 3rd gen Smith & Wessons. We were carrying around government and commander-sized all-steel 1911s. And there were just times that we wish we didn't carry that. And that was back when we carried everything on the waistband. When things switched to in the waistband, that changed the game. Now you had to start buying your clothes upsized by at least 1 inch in the waistband so that you made room for the chunkiness of that slide. And now you have all that weight. No matter where you're carrying it, you've got all that weight hanging off of your belt. And for those of us that carry appendix, that puts strain on your back because it's pulling across your back, because that is the counterbalance to the gun being in the front. So if you're somebody that's utterly ridiculous like I am, I have like 42 rounds of ammunition plus a gun right here. That is a substantial amount of weight. So if I can find a way to make all of that a little bit more comfortable, yeah, I'd like to do it. I'm not going to live my life trying to find a comfortable holster and a gun that's actually comfortable to carry, because these things do not exist. There are degrees in which they can become easier to live with. And I think this may be something that everybody can benefit from. I don't know what the price is. They don't seem to be very expensive. It's just a piece of foam and Velcro. buy some additional rolls of Velcro off of Amazon. I think I paid like $6 for like a 30-foot roll of Velcro. And I've got Velcro on the back of every single holster I have. And I have drawers full back here in my gun cabinet of all kinds of various holsters. So I like the modularity. I like that you can go from gun to gun to gun to gun, different holsters, different days, different needs, different requirements. And I like the fact that Vedder is thinking ahead. Now, I'm not some kind of all-knowing genie. I didn't know this was coming out. I opened my email one day, and Vedder Holsters had emailed me, and I figured it was just another spam email. Because, like every other holster company, when you buy holsters from them, they're going to send you stuff, especially around the holidays, about, hey, we've got sales, we've got this going on. So I assumed that's what it was. They had reached out and said, hey, we kind of like your videos. We think you're a pretty chill dude, and we've got a product we'd like to get your opinion on. If you'd be interested in reviewing it, let us know. We'll send one out to you free of charge. I don't get that very often. Almost everything, actually everything on this channel that I've ever reviewed, I've paid for. But over my 13 years of doing this on my various channels, that doesn't happen very often until you get to a large subscriber number like on my main channel. When you get over 50, 60, 70,000 subscribers and you get 1 million views on a video or hundreds of thousands of views on several videos, you get that often. On this channel here, I don't get that. So I'm like, okay, well, let me see what they got going on. I said, yeah, sure, I'd be happy to. I own some of your holsters. I'm already in your system. I enjoy your products as it is. They said, great, we'll get something out to you. I thought about it and went, you're a friggin' holster company. You have no idea what guns I have. What? So I emailed back. I said, I have a lot of different guns. If you're sending a holster, don't you want to know which one I would prefer it to fit? And the young lady said, nope, doesn't matter. This is a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. And I couldn't imagine what it was unless it was some sort of sling bag or fanny pack or something like that. And I went, hey, I've already got a bunch of those. I wouldn't mind having more. I'm going to be doing content on those soon. So what the hell? And I get this little thin envelope in the mail, and I open it up, and it's this. And I was like, what? Why? And then I tried it. And I'll be honest with you, I like it. And again, I think this is going to be an even bigger benefit in the summer when it's hot and you're sweating. If this wicks away the sweat, that will be nice. If it then takes that sweat, holds onto it, and provides a cooling factor, which I can't guarantee it does, that would be nice. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the summer because the area I live in, yeah, it may be 14 degrees outside right now, but in June, it's going to be 103. So we see all of the range of weather. So I'm excited to see what that does. So if you're looking for a way to get as comfortable as you can in the skin that you're in and the gun that you're carrying, Vedder might have the solution for you. I've only been able to try this out for a couple of weeks. I'm satisfied as it is, and I'm a pretty picky person. My weight goes up and down, so what I do is during the warmer months of the year is I trim down. Right now I'm in fluffy mode because it's the winter and I can cover up, and a little extra meat on your bones adds warmth. And this has been super comfortable, even though right now the pants and the belt systems that I typically wear are a small bit snugger than they normally are. This still worked out well. So that extra 400 thou of thickness, just under a half an inch of thickness, has not been a factor for me. It may be a factor for you, so keep that in the back of your mind. That's it for me. Thank you guys oh so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next video.